Welcome back, viewers, to the latest researches and news. We can have updates about ongoing conflict in Ethiopia. Firstly, about Ethiopia's ambassador to Kenya, General Bacha Deble, has made his most sweeping and explosive statement yet. He says Egypt is behind the entire Tigray People Liberation Front conflict. We explain every part of this statement, what it says, what it does not say. Secondly, about the Tigray Defense Forces have released a video of a new improvised weapon system that we will share with you in this video. We explain what this weapon is, what it can do, and why it matters. General Bacha Deble, the Ethiopian National Defense Force general, who now serves as Ethiopia's ambassador to the Republic of Kenya, gave an interview. And what he said represents one of the most explicit official Ethiopian government statements yet about who it believes is responsible for the current conflict. He said Egypt is behind the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Ambassador Bacha Deble stated directly that Egypt is supporting the Tigray People's Liberation Front, that Egypt is the force pushing and enabling the current armed activities of the Tigray People's Liberation Front against the Ethiopian federal government. This is not a new suspicion in Ethiopian political circles. The Ethiopia-Egypt relationship has been severely strained for years, primarily because of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. From Ethiopia's perspective, Egypt's support for any armed group that threatens Ethiopian stability is a logical extension of this water dispute. If Ethiopia is destabilized internally, if the government is consumed by civil conflict, the dam project slows or stops. Egypt achieves a strategic objective without ever firing a shot directly at Ethiopia. Ambassador Bacha Deble is articulating this logic. He is saying Egypt wants Ethiopia to collapse. Egypt wants its borders to become porous. He made second claim that Egypt and Eritrea together want to surround Ethiopia. Ambassador Bacha Deble said that both Egypt and Eritrea are pushing the Tigray People's Liberation Front, that together these two countries are working to encircle Ethiopia and plunge the entire region into war. This is a remarkable claim because it places Eritrea and Egypt as co-conspirators. Ethiopia's government has a fraught and complicated relationship with Eritrea. After the 2018 peace agreement between Abiy Ahmed and Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki, the two governments were described as close partners. Now, with Eritrea aligned with the Tigray People's Liberation Front through the Tsimido Alliance ambassador Bacha Deble is describing Eritrea as a hostile encircling power alongside Egypt. This is worth examining in the context of the Tsimido framework. The Tsimido Alliance, which we have covered extensively, is the strategic alignment between the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the Tigray Defense Forces, and Eritrea's government. It emerged after the breakdown of the post-Pretoria relationship between Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki. Eritrea felt that Abiy's government had made commitments it did not keep. The Tigray People's Liberation Front under Debretsion Gebremichael found a willing partner in Eritrea's government for precisely the reasons that made the two sides enemies in previous conflicts, a shared assessment that Abiy Ahmed's government represents a threat to both of their interests. Ambassador Bacha Deble is now adding Egypt to this axis, creating in his telling a triangle of external powers: Egypt, Eritrea, and implicitly Sudan, all working to encircle Ethiopia from multiple directions simultaneously. What you are watching on your screen is a video released by Tigray Defense Forces fighters showing their improvised mobile weapons system. Let us explain exactly what this is. The weapon mounted on the truck appears to be a 37 mm M 1939 autocannon, also known as the 61K in Soviet designation, or the Type 55 in its Chinese manufactured version. This is a rapid-fire anti-aircraft gun originally designed during the Second World War era, specifically to engage low-flying aircraft at altitudes that heavier anti-aircraft systems could not effectively reach. The 37 mm caliber gives it a high rate of fire. It can put a significant volume of rounds downrange quickly. When mounted on a truck and aimed at ground targets, as it is being used here, it becomes a mobile anti-personnel and light vehicle suppression platform. It can engage infantry positions, light armored vehicles, and personnel in the open at ranges well beyond what a standard rifle or machine gun can achieve. The mobility of having it mounted on a truck means it can be driven to wherever it is needed on the battlefield and repositioned quickly after firing, making it much harder for the opposing side to target than a fixed emplacement. This kind of improvised weapon mounting, taking an existing gun system and mounting it on a vehicle to create battlefield mobility, is something armed forces around the world have done, particularly in conflict zones where conventional military vehicles are not available. The result is a technical term used for any civilian vehicle that has been fitted with a weapon system for military use. The Tigray Defense Forces releasing this footage is deliberate. It is a signal consistent with the pattern we have seen throughout this conflict that Tigray Defense Forces is continuously developing and revealing new capabilities. The statement from Tigray Defense Forces sources that more advanced and unexpected weapon systems are yet to be revealed appears to be a genuine description of an ongoing process, not just rhetoric. Now let us give you the most comprehensive overview of what the Tigray Defense Forces has revealed, deployed, and documented across the current phase of this conflict. We have reported on each of these systems individually. Now we bring them together in one complete picture. Zu-23-2 anti-aircraft gun systems. We have covered the appearance of Zu-23-2 type anti-aircraft guns in Tigray twin-barreled systems designed to engage low-flying aircraft and helicopters. Their presence means the Tigray Defense Forces has a ground-based capability to threaten the Ethiopian National Defense Forces drone and aircraft operations at low altitude. These systems have been observed in multiple locations across Tigray and in videos released by Tigray Defense Forces. Combat drones strike capability confirmed the Tigray Defense Forces conducted drone strikes on the Shirena front on August 1st. 4 strikes were reported, with the Tigray Defense Forces claiming that those strikes destroyed 3 Ethiopian National Defense Force main battle tanks and 5 military vehicles. This is not theoretical drone capability, it is drone capability that has been used in active combat against armored targets with documented results. The Tigray People's Liberation Front also released the first confirmed drone surveillance footage, confirming that Tigray Defense Forces drones are operating in intelligence gathering mode above the battlefield. Iranian-manufactured Farak 80 mm rockets. We reported on the appearance of Iranian-made Farak 80 mm rockets with Tigray Defense Forces fighters rockets, originally designed for aircraft use that are being adapted for ground-launched employment using improvised platforms. These rockets can be used against armored vehicles, fortified positions, and personnel concentrations at ranges beyond standard rocket-propelled grenade systems. Anti-tank guided missile systems, multiple military analysts, and field reports have identified anti-tank guided missile systems within Tigray Defense Forces inventory. These are precision-guided weapons designed to engage armored vehicles, from significant distances, substantially greater ranges than conventional rocket-propelled grenades. Their presence means that Tigray Defense Forces can threaten Ethiopian National Defense Force armor at distances that make counter-fire difficult. Mortars, both light and heavy mortars, have been present throughout the Tigray Defense Forces inventory and continue to be deployed. Mortars provide indirect fire capability, the ability to strike targets that are not in a direct line of sight. When deployed in coordinated groups, they are highly effective for both offensive fire support and defensive suppression. Rocket-propelled grenade systems, widely observed and widely used rocket-propelled grenades, remain a core anti-armor and anti-position capability throughout Tigray Defense Forces units. They are effective at close combat ranges against armored vehicles, fortified defensive positions, and personnel in the open. 107 IMI improvised rocket launcher we reported on and shared footage of Tigray Defense Forces fighters using an improvised 107 IMI rocket launcher system, a ground-based adaptation of a rocket system that provides longer range fire support than standard mortars. The improvised nature of the launcher demonstrates Tigray Defense Forces' ability to adapt available weapons to new roles as battlefield needs require. 37 Memory in 1939 mobile autocannon just revealed the newest addition to the documented Tigray Defense Forces weapons. Picture the truck-mounted 37 Memory autocannon revealed in tonight's video. Mobile suppressive fire capability, effective against infantry, light vehicles, and personnel positions. The mobility of the truck-mounted platform makes it a flexible asset across multiple battlefield roles. Electronic warfare reported, but unconfirmed claims about Tigray Defense Forces possession of electronic warfare equipment jamming and signal disruption systems have circulated in analyst discussions. We have noted these claims while also noting that their operational effectiveness has not been independently confirmed. Captured Ethiopian National Defense Force main battle tank on the Sherena front. Tigray Defense Forces fighters from Army 70 and Army 13 captured a main battle tank reported as a T-54-55 type from either Ethiopian National Defense Force or Rapid Support Forces opposing them. We shared the footage of this capture as it was released. Whether this tank has been or can be put into Tigray Defense Forces service remains unclear. Now the critical question that this entire weapons picture raises: where did all of this come from? The Semido Alliance, the strategic framework, the Semido Alliance is the answer, at least partially. The Semido framework is the strategic alignment between the Tigray People's Liberation Front political administration, the Tigray Defense Forces, and the Eritrean government under President Isaias Afwerki. We have documented this alliance extensively, including the physical entry of Eritrean military officials and administrators into Tigray that was captured on video. Eritrea has a sophisticated military establishment. It has experienced training fighters under extreme conditions. The Sawa Defense Training Center is known for producing hardened, battle-ready soldiers. Eritrea has military relationships across the region, and Eritrea has access to weapons procurement channels that the Tigray Defense Forces could not easily access independently. The appearance of Iranian-manufactured weapons in Tigray Defense Forces hands the Farak rockets specifically points towards supply chains that run through partners and networks that Eritrea is far better positioned to access than Tigray Defense Forces on its own. The anti-aircraft systems, the drone capability, the anti-tank guided missile systems, all reflect a qualitative leap beyond what the Tigray Defense Forces had in 2020, and a leap that is consistent with a period of supply, training, and development conducted under the Semido Alliance framework. Ambassador Bacha Deble identified Egypt and Eritrea as the external forces pushing the Tigray People's Liberation Front. The weapons picture the Tigray Defense Forces has revealed is consistent with a force that has been supplied and developed by partners, the Semido Alliance, over the period since the Pretoria Agreement was signed. Like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update from the front lines.